Good morning, and this is Rogue Mystic Divination. My power's out, because what better way to start a Monday morning? And we're going to try and do this. Yay, that worked. We're going to try and make this work, but I want to go ahead and do readings. I'm sure it'll come back on soon, so. But we have a new mini-moon coming in. And it's going to be here from September 29th until November 25th. So, 57 days, if I remember correctly. I am kind of curious if anybody else has any conspiracy theories or, suspicions about what it may be other than just another planetary body. I know we constantly have things flying around and through Earth's orbit, and I don't know, I just find it very curious that they're putting such a great emphasis on this. Like, are they going to utilize it as an excuse, like, oh, we need to do a reset because we lost track of all the money because satellites and info storage, or is it an alien spaceship? Is something else going to hit it while it's in its orbital path around Earth? There were a few movies and TV shows from the 60s, 70s that started to prophesy that, oh, well, we're going to have a mysterious planetary body that is just small enough that we think nothing of it, but just big enough that we notice it. And is this going to be the alien spaceship, the alien visitation that we've been suspecting would happen at some point anyway? But anyway, I'm going to do a pick a card on this in honor, I guess, of the new moon. And we're going to do a pick a card, and I might do another one of these too. But the first card in your stack is going to be what do you see coming? What inevitable thing do you know is going to happen, and how are you going to react to it whenever it does finally happen? Pile 1, pile 2, and pile 3. And there we go. But I will draw clarifiers if they feel like they need to come out, or if anything falls out. So go ahead and pick your pile, pick your favorite number, and then there will be timestamps below. So, okay, pile 1. What do you know that's going to happen, and how will you react to it when it does? And we start with the Queen of Pentacles. So, seeing as she comes out in reverse, this could be part of what's going on in the U.S. The financial collapse, the whatever the hell is going on with it. I think people just are looking at bits and pieces of it here and there and throwing out an opinion on incomplete information. We're assuming it's a financial reset, but we're not we're not clued in because we're not in the inner echelon, right? So we just deal with it as it comes. But the Queen of Pentacles in reverse. On the card, it says that she is financial independence, self-care, work home conflict, self-centered, jealousy, and smothering. Financial issues are certainly smothering because they're financial issues. They can be seen at the basis of a lot of conflict within intimate relationships, family relationships, and economic, social issues. If this is for a personal level, this could be you asserting financial independence and taking your money and walking away from somebody. They could see you as self-centered and they could be jealous of your freedom, jealous of what you have. And they could still be trying to, it might feel like they're trying to claw at you and pull you back into a group so they can use what you got. But once you get there, they know for sure or you know for sure that that's all that it is. So if you have suspicions of this, don't interact. Just keep your distance. This could easily be a group of people that have decided that, well, once all of your resources are gone, well, they don't have a need for you anymore. And why are you here? Why are you bothering to come around? Oh, you only come around whenever you need something, whenever they just took the last dime out of your pocket. And the second card, how you're going to deal with it. This could be if you do decide to have contact with these people again. You could be keeping track of evidence that says that they're just using you and insisting that, I don't know, kind of treating them the way that they've been treating you. Well, won't you have that taken care of already? Why do you need to ask for help for that? It should be simple for you to fix. And they're not going to appreciate the give back on that. Mirroring their actions, if they were harmless to begin with, and they insisted that they were harmless, is going to be seen as aggressive or as retaliation for them just trying to be good people. So knowing that this is going to end up in conflict, I think you need to ask yourself if you really want to have these arguments, if you really want to waste your time on allowing other people to make you feel bad about yourself. Because you didn't feel good whenever they were treating you this way, and even though they insisted it was for your own good, or it was to teach you independence, or it was to teach you, your place in this world. I think that phrase is going to really strike home for someone if they come across this. But if you put all the work into getting away from these people and becoming financially independent, ask yourself if you really want to put yourself back into the position that you fought so hard to get away from. You know the fight that you're walking into. You know it's not going to matter how much good you try to do. You know that they're never going to see it as that. It would be surprising if you even got a thank you. And if this isn't really striking home for you and you pick this pile, you need to ask yourself if maybe the situation isn't reversed. If there's someone that has gained financial independence, has gained a separation from you or your family, or the situations that you involved yourself with, and now you find yourself in a jealous spot. Well, if they got out, why can't I? Well, they're doing this, but they also do this, and they got there doing this. Well, if you're doing things that are against your moral compass, it's not really against your moral compass, because they're still in the realm of possibility for you to complete in such a way. If you consider them, then you consider them an option. And I don't want to take this into too dark of a place, but it's one of those, if you see evil being done and you do nothing about it, are you a part of the evil act? Or was it really evil? And I don't want to get into the whole good-evil battle thing because context. But if you see something being done and it's not causing harm to you, but you know it's causing harm to somebody else, and you're okay with it as long as it doesn't happen to you, where does that put you on that spectrum? If you were looking at you in the position that you're at, knowing that you saw that being done and maybe had a chance to do something about it or to counteract that, and from the third person perspective, you dislike yourself, I don't know. I don't want to say that there's any children involved in this, but there might be in some cases. But the children are not a focus of it. It's just like they're innocent bystanders being affected by this. So, and if that's the case, it might be pulling away financial support, like child support, or a redetermination of child support, and that's going to cause us conflict. Since I am doing this because of the second moon, I want to say that this is going to either start or like really get into the active portion of whatever this conflict is on the 29th. And it's the end of the month, right whenever we're starting back up for October, so that seems like a plausible situation for redetermination or recalculation. And this conflict feels like it's going to stretch into next year, Taurus season of next year. And if this is a custody battle or custody case, it's likely the other party will actually lose custody. Well, I do not want to go any further into that because I do have two good cards that came out for clarifiers for it, though. So if you have stepped away from someone because, or a group of people because of this conflict, and that was your hidden card, the Queen of Wands. So having the courage and confidence to step up for yourself is going to actually help you clarify your independence. And it's going to give you more life, more wealth. As soon as you separate from these people, you'll actually be able to see how much it is that you had, and you'll be able to keep it. Well, let's end pile one on a good note, because that is a little bit of a turn. You start out with the Queen of Pentacles in reverse, and coupled with the Five of Wands of how you were going to deal with that situation. So essentially, you're going to deal with the jealousy from you striking some financial independence by standing up for yourself, and dealing with the jealousy that others decide to have over it, and that will be putting you into the position of being able to give and receive and share with generosity to other people, whether you know them now or not. And whatever you give out is going to come back to you threefold. So but if you've been trying to get somewhere financially, it's likely that you're going to reach your goal and be able to invest in long-term propositions. So and if you were looking to get into property management or become a landlord, this is all good vibes for that. And then your Queen of Wands came out, so by separating yourself from these people causing conflict and putting pressure on you financially, you will find a new zest for life, and you will be confident, determined, and regain your focus. So good results, pile one. And pile two. That one was first, this one was second. So what you see coming is an imbalance. Probably spending too much time, partying too much. And this is going to end up sending you to a breaking point. You've been drinking too much or doing too much in order to distract your mind and spirit from what you have to do in life. You're finally going to reach a breaking point, and you'll be able to turn yourself around. But remember to have patience with yourself. And how you're going to deal with this. is you're going to start making head over heart decisions. You're going to remain disciplined, and you're not going to allow any heartbreak that you've had to rule your mind, because that heartbreak could have actually been what drove you into this overindulgence. And the overindulgence is always just to distract you from what's actually going on that you can't figure out or you can't face. So you may be deciding to take on a certain authority, not over just your life, but some kind of social group. It feels like this is probably an old idea that you had to help people other than yourself, but you didn't have any, you didn't have the means. But you've realized, baby, if you took the money that you've been spending on this, on these bad habits or these self-harming pastimes, that if you took that money and actually put it towards organizing something, putting resources out into the community, you actually might be able to fix some issues, not just for yourself, but for other people. Try to don't let other people get in your way of doing what it is that you want to do. Especially if it's for the betterment and not just enabling someone or a group of people. Don't enable people, make them able. Or give them the ability to be able to deal with their own problems. As this in the reverse, the Three of Wands in reverse tells me that you may be trying to do something to help out someone. That's just going to make them dependent on you. And if that means that they can't move forward, that they can't take care of themselves, it's one of those, give a man a fish, he eats for a day, but teach a man to fish, he eats for a lifetime. You don't want to think about helping people immediately. You want to focus on thinking in the long term and either setting people up with or giving them a pathway to like a trade or to an education that they can further into, or the support while they further their education. With the Six of Cups, though, in the reverse, I want to say, as much as this person may remind you, if you're only helping an individual, or it could even be a group of individuals, but in the card is just one person talking to another. Ensure in your interactions you're not just surrounding yourself with people that remind you of people from the past. People who you've had a falling out with, people who you want to make amends with, but either can't get into contact with or they've passed on. Don't see them for only what they remind you of. See them for as they are. And if you start to see people as they are rather than what they remind you of, and you start to see people outside of what they remind you of and what you benefit out of them, and start seeing them for as they are, you will be able to draw boundaries between yourself and them, and it'll help you move forward from the past. This may end up in you feeling like, if you're not physically moving, because it doesn't feel like the physical move is in your future, it may actually help you physically or mentally move on from some past issues. You may have been making your home, your mental and your soul home, in a place of trauma from the past. It does feel like this is you leaving that, though, behind and starting to draw a line in the sand of, that happened then, this is happening now, and I'll only try and use the good from then and the lessons from then to move forward. You did have the Queen of Cups come out. I don't think this is another person, though. I think this is you helping yourself to heal from this, the Six of Cups. Or as part of the Six of Cups. This could easily be you talking to your inner child and saying, I'm sorry that this happened to you, but we both need to move on now. We need to remember what we learned from it, not necessarily remember all the pain and torture and shame from it. And it is very likely that's what that is you nurturing an inner child and getting them to move on with you. And now we're going to move on to pile 3. And pile 3. What you know is going to happen, what you see coming, is the Page of Wands in reverse. The lack of direction, procrastination. This is an issue that you agreed to do, an issue or a job that you agreed to do, but now you don't want to do it. You may have agreed to this at a time whenever you were not aware of everything that it was going to expect, everything that's going to be required of you to do it. This could be you trying to get you or someone who agreed to help you. This could be them or you trying to get fired from a job because you signed a contract and you're not happy with the conditions or the agreements now. You realize now that you're in the middle of it that you're getting screwed out of money. And it's going to cost you way more in time and energy than you ever thought it was. And then how you're going to deal with it is the Empress in reverse. My supporting card is the Eight of Swords. That still feels like you're trying to get fired. Or waiting for someone else to okay the end of the contract. Like, you know what, fine, never mind. They may try and take you to court, though. Just because you don't believe that you can actually complete the job doesn't mean you can't. It just means that you may be able to easily complete this job if it's a contract job, and you just don't think that you can get done with the tools that you have, or this could be performance anxiety. Like, well, I agreed to this because I thought it was this, and then whenever you got into it, you quickly began to understand exactly how much it was going to take up of your time, of your energy. If you open yourself up to new experiences, though, and you leave that baggage of, well, I failed here, I failed there. Just because you failed before doing something similar to this does not mean you're going to fail, because you've learned from those failures. And this limitation that you're feeling may just be you insisting that, well, I can't do this because I did it before and I messed it up. But did you go back and fix that mess up? Maybe refusing to, with the hangman coming out too, you may be refusing to understand that your feet are on solid ground. You're just trying to act like you're not. You do have a solid grip of whatever this is going to take you to get through this, but you don't want to acknowledge the fact that you can get through this, because you might be believing that will separate connection between yourself and somebody else, or it's almost like you're insisting that you're unreliable because of some other influence in your life. Like, people have told you that, well, you can't do this and you can't do that, and why can't you do this and why haven't you done that? They're never acknowledging anything that you have done. And you may be afraid that this situation will end up like that again. And at this point, it may actually be you choosing to not progress because you don't want to put all this effort in just to have people say that, well, you didn't do anything. Why should I pay you? You didn't do anything. Well, why should you be able to use me as a reference? You didn't do anything. Well, you know what? I think the Hermit came out because you need to go and have a talk to yourself. Because the light in the Hermit's lantern is pointed directly at the Hangman's head right now. The same thing that illuminates the lantern is the same thing that gives the Hangman his inspiration. And these three popped out, so you will have a choice to make. And I'm sorry, I've got to go back to the Hangman for a second, because it always feels necessary for me to say, I am not a flamingo, I am just doing a damn good impersonation of one. And I think that's where you're at now. You may have done some things where you've gotten the education and you've demonstrated you know how to do something, but you're insisting you don't know how to do it. You're insisting you don't know how to handle a problem. Whenever you have the education and You have the certifications. You've proven that you know how to do this. You've proven that whenever there's no pressure on you, you can do it. Whenever it's your idea, you can do it. But this idea that you have in your head that you can't do it is coming from you. You're allowing the other people in your life from the past to illuminate your ego and disintegrate your ego. You have proven to yourself time and time again that you know how to do something, and you need to stop ignoring that. All you have to do is put your other foot on the ground. All you have to do is take control of your mind again. The same kind of control that you have whenever you were doing these things without any pressure behind it, because you enjoyed it. You enjoyed it enough to learn the tiny details of a thing and to figure out a problem whenever no one else is putting pressure on you. And now you're putting pressure on yourself because you're scared of failure in the eyes of others. Because the hermit coming out like this is just you seeing somebody else and allowing the eyes of that person, the look on their face, their actions, even just around you, not even necessarily in their general direction, allowing that to put an idea in your head that you can't do this. This person could not even be talking about you or thinking anything about you. And these actions of these people are putting you in a spot of stagnation and isolation. And, well, now that someone's looking at me, I don't know how to do anything. You have a choice of whether or not you want to get out of your way. And it may just be a case of you need to decide whether or not this project or this situation is going to be defining of everything else. Is this going to, like, if you mess something up with this, is that going to, say, like, the past 25 years of you gaining this education, gaining these certifications, is this one situation, this one isolated situation, going to destroy all of that knowledge that you have? Is it going to take it away? If this is a relationship, are you going to let this one fight destroy a relationship that you've had for 10 or 20 years? You've been working on this for so long. You've been through things. You've dealt with things. Are you going to allow one argument, which may have been even something that didn't violate either of your boundaries, it's just, it was a bad day and it turned into a worse day? Whether it's work or a project or a relationship, you may find yourself in a position where you feel like you have to manage your personality and somebody else's. That's why the Two of Pentacles came out. Whatever it is that you decide to put into this, you will harvest the fruits of your labor. So if you decide to give up, you're going to harvest nothing or very little. If you keep putting work into it and you don't walk away from yourself and your own abilities and say, oh, well, you don't know how to do anything. You don't know how to handle a situation. You don't know how to handle a person. You don't know how to handle finances. You don't know how to handle bills or balancing a checkbook. Like, it could go so deep, but if you can't handle one thing, is that going to roll over to everything else in your life? Or are you going to use that as an excuse? Or are you going to let one tiny decision totally catapult the rest of your life into a million different directions? You've been managing so many things, and you've been able to adapt to so many things, but you may not see it as that. Do not fight yourself, do not fight your own ability, and insist that you can't do this anymore, because you've been doing it. It's like you're consciously waking up and deciding that, no, I've been in a coma and the past 20 or so years do not exist, and all that knowledge that I had, all that ability that I had, never existed to begin with. I don't know what you're talking about. And if this is someone that's trying to get you to do something that you don't want to do, be honest about it. If you decide to manage this situation and everything connected with it, you'll be able to draw boundaries and redefine a relationship. But you need to know what that relationship is going to mean for you. Where do you want this relationship to go? How do you want to proceed? If you're not honest with yourself about that, then you're not going to be able to address the other person or people or work situation or whatever this is. But it does definitely feel like it's time for you to understand where you want your boundaries to be and then communicate that to other people. And I am going to cut this off. Everybody have a great day. Pile 3. Remember, you are who you are, and no one else can change that. So, have a good 57 days or whatever this rotation of this new planetary body around our Earth is, and be safe out there.